Hey friends, just had a big time epiphany recently about holding space and processing and deep parts and whether or not we're able to hold space for other people. So, my husband and I have spent a lot of time holding space for each other to process whatever part is coming up in us. We've gone through the process too of um, he holds space for me. I am getting in contact with this difficult part or this pain, and I hear the details. I give compassion to it. I hear it. I understand it. I see it. I help it meet its needs. I bring in the comforting, reparenting, the truth beliefs to replace the limiting beliefs that it carries. I help it heal. All of its attributes and knowledge and wisdom are added to me and integrated into me, and the whole process is really beautiful, and it adds more compassion, insight into myself, into the human experience, into understanding my life, into seeing how my life was a blessing, and how the experiences I had are making me wiser, the whole thing. But sometimes we can be, that we don't know all the parts inside of us, and parts are very convincing when they blend with us. It can be very convincing and it can feel really true, the emotions and the beliefs and the worldviews that they carry. It happened just a couple weeks ago. I was having emotions and stuff, and my husband was kind of like, please don't be sad, like this, like, I'm scared for you to keep talking about this painful thing that's inside of you. Please just feel happy, kind of a thing. He didn't say those exact words, but I was able to say to him, like, well, don't worry, like, I'm not overrun by it. I'm still present, and I really feel like I can hold space for this. And then if I can keep talking and processing verbally for a little while longer, I'll be able to get to the solution and like the resolution, and that there's a really important message in this for me. Would you be willing to hold space while I keep going? And I feel like I'm gonna get there. And he did. He held space, and it was amazing. The like resolution and the message in it was amazing. And it was in fact like my soul message, like for this lifetime, like my whole life, my life mission has like one particularly strong message of like freedom to share with people, and that's what this thing was. And it just, so by processing this particular glitch or wound in part, I was able to get much more clarity on like my message, and it was amazing. It was beautiful, and he witnessed it. And like, that you can go from like, oh, I feel so torn up inside, I feel like such agony, but something beautiful can be born from this as I clear away, the pain. And then the last few days I've had a part surfacing that I wasn't able to get in contact with. Often, since I've been doing this for years, I can have a lot of self-awareness around a part, and I can play detective and glean a lot of clues to understand it pretty quickly, at least relatively quickly. And sometimes if it's deeper, if it's a really deep part, the clues are very spread out. Like, I have to look hard, and often I can kind of only get in contact with it while other people are present. And even then, like, it's maybe doesn't feel safe with me. If it's a really deep part that's been locked deep, deep, deep down in a hole, it's gonna not necessarily trust this lady who's the one who locked it up, which makes sense that I need to have other people present for it to dare to start getting closer. Anywho, so I had this part coming up, and I wasn't quite sure, because sometimes it's something else. It's like environmental energy, or I'm plugged into like collective energy. Or it's just like a lack of self-care, or like not eating the right foods that I need or something. So there's this, but now I know because I just got in more contact with it in a session. A part's been surfacing. So this morning I was feeling it, and I was feeling a little bit, feeling its emotions of kind of like doom, not enough, things can't heal, kind of like all those feelings. And my husband brought up something he wanted to process, and I really wasn't able to hold space for him. As he was talking, I was experiencing it as like negativity that's never going to be able to heal. and it's just going to stick around. And so talking about it only makes it worse, makes me feel worse hearing about it. And like, you're never going to get to a solution. It's just, and it doesn't sound like you're headed towards a solution. So I don't feel very hopeful about this. So you talking about it is just making me feel heavier. And now I'm going to be weighed down for the rest of my day, because me hearing and me feeling right now, I'm only experiencing what you're feeling as not healable, and you're doomed to feel it forever. And it's making me feel heavier, which is my part that I was having at the time. But I didn't see it. And when I mentioned it, he's like, I don't feel hopeless at all. Like, I really feel like this is solvable. And if I talk through it, I'm going to be able to solve it. But I really was not able to see that or believe that or feel that at all, because of the part that was coming up for me. It was blended with me. And I was reminded, and hadn't even seen it yet. So that's the thing. I was feeling this way and having this worldview without knowing that it was a part, because the part hadn't gotten surfaced enough for me to see it and go, whoa, I totally, see where this is coming from and why it believes that and whatnot. And so it reminded me of, that's like, a lot of people are in that place where they haven't ever experienced, like, they have parts in them currently that are in agony and don't feel like they'll be able to be healed. And so when other people talk about negative emotions, that's how it feels to them. They don't feel like, oh, she's got this. She can talk about something negative, process it, get to the resolution, learn something, heal, and it's gone. Like, she moves forward. Like, that might not even occur in their mind if they haven't yet experienced it, or especially if they've got one right now inside of them that's blended with them. And in my experience, I feel like that's the majority of people. Like, a lot of people these days haven't yet experienced the process of healing, of a part integrating, I should say, because healing's not a legal word. Integrating. And that just blows my mind. That was like, when I found IFS for the first time and went through that process, I just wanted to shout from like the rooftops of like, world, did you know that things can resolve and heal, and you can get to like live from your core self and feel your core self instead of always being blended by parts 24 hours a day? Oh, I just wanted to like shout to the whole world. And then now I've been living that so much, I'm often living in myself, and then it's less common that I'm living blended, and I can call in a friend to do a session on me or to hold space for me, like I'm going to do tonight. Like, as soon as I just had that session where that part poked up a little bit and I could see some more information, so I'm like, okay, now I know the information, I'm going to reach out to my friends tonight. I want to get a session ASAP so I can like heal this thing. Anywho, so like, that's my normal now, and I forgot what it was like to live in a place where like anyone else talking about like pain or something that they're a struggle or a wall or blockade that they're hitting up against just like feels hopeless instead of hopeful, because the truth is that it's very hopeful. There's like limitless possibilities all the time, but that can be hard to believe when we're blended with a part, but it is true. And so I just wanted to share that. Everything was really profound for me today, because it's been so long since I was living that way that I forgot that that's how a lot of people are living, and that alone gave me more compassion for people around that I see sometimes and think like, oh, why aren't you doing your inner work? Like, why are you still stuck in these patterns? You could be free of those. Come on, just like look at the mirror life is showing you and start doing your work. Anyway, so that gave me more compassion to remember what it was like to be blended with the feeling of like doom and despair and lack of hope. And also makes me very happy to be mindful again of the reality that things can heal. Like, yep, they really can. And they can integrate, and it's beautiful and amazing. And then we just become bettered with knowledge as we do it along the way. So now I don't know if this makes sense, because I kind of went all over the place. But if it was, and if it helped anyone, good.